Macron's camp seeks allies, says, it will be complicated. After election rout, Paris President Emmanuel Macron's centrist camp scrambled on Monday to steady aid from rivals to salvage some of its reform timetable after weekend elections delivered a fragmented parliament that leaves France vulnerable to political paralysis. The lack of his Ensemble alliance's absolute majority is a sour setback for Macron, himself elected for a 2D time period in April. French governments have lengthy been used to having a lower residence of parliament that stalks their political line and in large part rubber stamps proposals. Sunday's second-round vote left Ensemble as the largest birthday celebration, with a fledgling left-wing alliance determined to make its voice heard in 2D vicinity, the Fairite more potent than ever and the Conservatives as potential kingmakers. It's going to be complex, authorities spokeswoman Olivia Grégoire advised France Inter Radio. We're going to ought to be innovative. Losing manage of Parliament way Macron will need to shed his top-down method to politics, which he himself referred to as Jupiterian, for a far more consensual stance. Such a fragmented parliament will probably result in political deadlock, with a miles slower reform schedule, said Philippe Goudin of Barclays Lawn, BARC. This will probably weaken France's role in Europe and endanger the US's financial function, that is already vulnerable. What next? One key question is whether Macron will attempt to strike a coalition address the conservative Les Républicains who've for now rejected that choice or enter into messy negotiations with lawmakers on a bill foundation. Grégoire stated he would quickly reshuffle his government, that can see Prime Minister Elisabeth Borne lose her activity after simply over a month in office. It is doubtful whether the broad left-wing NUPES alliance of Jean-Luc Mélenchon can live united and what effect Marine Le Pen's strong Fairite contingent will wield. We will try and carry others on board with us, especially to convince the few moderates in Parliament to comply with us, Grégoire stated. A few lone voices aside, lawmakers from Les Républicains (LR), who collected on Monday to speak about the fallout from the election, have up to now rejected a coalition percent, but the door can be open to offers on a case-via-case foundation. We're no longer right here to damn and we are not on the market, stated Xavier Bertrand, a veteran Republican. So there is no doubt of being a part of a presidential majority, no doubt of a government settlement. Ensemble and LR have well-matched platforms on economic matters, including pushing up the retirement age and promoting nuclear power. Together, they might have an absolute majority. First tests if no settlement with the opposition can be determined. The Eurozone's second biggest economic system faces political deadlock and possible snap elections down the line. A first fundamental take a look at can be a cost of living bill which Grégoire said the government will position to lawmakers in 8 days, while the brand new parliament sits for the primary time. Proposals within the summer on renewable strength will test the solidity of the left, which is divided over nuclear energy. Final figures confirmed Macron's centrist camp gained 245 seats, well below the 289 needed for an absolute majority, NUPES 131, the Fairite 89 and Les Républicains 61. Macron himself has but to touch upon the election result, and the opposition urged him to interrupt his silence. Painful setback. The vote became a painful setback for the 44-year-old president, whose victory in April made him the primary French president in many years to win a second time period, as voters rallied to preserve his Fairite opponent Le Pen out of energy. In his final time period, he had desired to deepen European Union integration, increase the retirement age and inject new lifestyles into France's nuclear enterprise. Financial markets took the result largely in their stride, with little effect on the euro and shares in early trading on Monday. French bond spreads noticed a few widening stress. The hope that some foreign exchange buyers positioned in Macron in 2017 evaporated a while lower back, so that election victories or defeats do not play a major function for the euro alternate costs to any extent further, Commerzbank ETR, CBKG analyst Ulrich Leukmann said in a Be Aware.